It's a massive week of new releases following a smaller entry last week, with some hotly anticipated titles including action platformers, one long in development title, some potentially massive games and much more. So let's begin with Tower of Babel Survivors of
Chaos.
a bullet heaven roguelite where you ascend a cursed tower as a lone warrior. This combines hack and slash action with what seems to be a Darkest Dungeon inspired art style, and man, does that hold up visually with all the progression systems from skills, abilities, items, loot and permanent progression expected, and has demoed very well, so if you want more of these, this would be a great pick. On the opposite end of things in terms of vibes is Duck Detective The Ghost of Glamping, the standalone sequel to The Secret Salami that once again has you playing as Eugene McQuacklin, a down-on-his-luck duck detective grappling with personal demons and a penchant for bread. This time, he is summoned to a luxury campsite teeming with eccentric animal characters and rumors of a haunting, where your task is to unravel said mystery, done through an ad-libs style fill-in-the-blanks investigation system, where the main complaint about the first game was that it was just a single case and was too short in duration, meaning that players wanted more, although this looks like a single case as well, with an expected duration of 2 to 3 hours, but I would much rather have an excellent, tighter experience as compared to a bloated game with filler. This video is brought to you by Night Swarm, a survivors-like auto-shooter roguelite in which you play as a young vampire lord rising to power, battling enemies and the relentless werewolf hordes. It has a charming presentation, with characters and enemies in the game resembling tabletop miniatures complete with their own base, with one of the main mechanics being that of summoning allies to help, including a plague doctor, vampire butler, coffin octopus and more. These allies can be permanently upgraded in between runs, increasing their stats and gaining passive abilities as you craft the ultimate party for your next attempt. Additionally, there are a variety of quest objectives to complete, as well as devastating abilities which you have to time the use of as you unravel the truth behind the age-old war between vampires and werewolves and delve into the haunted pasts of your companions. If interested, they are releasing a playable demo very soon on May 26, 2025, so wishlist the game for now and try it out on that date. Publisher Hooded Horse is back at it again this week with Nine Kings, a roguelite kingdom management strategy title in which you play as a ruler in a kingdom on the brink of destruction. You have to build and expand your realm through a deck building system where each card represents different structures, units and spells, with your city initially being constrained to a 3x3 grid, but that can be expanded. The titular 9 kings are your adversaries, where each of them presents a new challenge with their own distinct decks that you can add to your own once defeated. It has auto-battler combat, where you position your units on the grid and then hit go, having to choose the right time for your spells and abilities, with a minimalist yet striking pixel art style. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but we finally have the release of The Siege and the Sandfox, which was after a delay, a self-styled Stealthvania title in which you embody the legendary Sandfox, a master of stealth and agility, falsely accused of regicide and cast into the maze of dungeons beneath a besieged desert city. As you navigate the perilous underground world, you'll master dynamic parkour abilities, including running, jumping, sliding, shimmying, and pole swinging, in order to evade detection as you uncover the true threat lurking within from a sand-born evil. It will have a seamless, interconnected world that links the majestic palace above, ancient prisons below, and an intricate network of caves, where each area presents unique challenges and enemies. However, it says that it is a pure stealth title, so you won't be engaging in direct combat, but can get the jump on enemies to knock them out, being intriguing in concept, so I'm excited to see how this will play out and has some of the most amazing pixel art and lighting that I have seen. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. We also have the release of Windward Horizon, the follow-up to a fan favourite Windward from 2015, so it has been 10 years being an open-world naval RPG, so expect sailing, trading, naval combat, crew management, and exploration. Start as a young, unaffiliated captain of your vessel and set off on an adventure in this vast, procedurally generated world where every decision shapes your experience. Whether you choose to trade peacefully as a merchant, fly the skull and crossbones and start attacking other ships, or live the life of an explorer, venturing into uncharted waters, the game offers a rich tapestry of experiences and the choice is yours. There will be various factions, each with their own agendas, and your interactions with them can influence the world around you, including joining up with them. It also has a dynamic world which will react to your actions, since towns and provinces require resources to thrive and your contributions can lead to their growth or decline in the case of setting up a blockade and destroying incoming ships. You can also customize your ship, putting on heavily reinforced armor, or opt for speed to outmaneuver your enemies with a talent point system which can be invested in defense, offense, or support specializations to give you even more options. Your ship will be nothing without your crew, each of which brings unique skills and abilities, and really does look like a swashbuckling good time, and I'm interested to see the reception after all these years. Other games begin with A Webbing Journey, a physics-based sandbox 3D platformer which has gone viral on TikTok a number of times, where you control a charming little spider on a mission to assist their human roommate with oversized chores around a cozy, cluttered home. You can swing, crawl, and weave intricate webs to navigate a sprawling, detailed house where each room presents unique challenges and puzzles, from organizing the kitchen to decorating the living room, all requiring creativity and precision. The interactive environment allows you to manipulate hundreds of objects magnified by the use of your webbing, so there are many different ways to solve the puzzles, with the physics opening up the possibility for hilarity. Of course, you will be able to customize your spider with a number of outfits and cosmetics, looking like a light-hearted fun time. There's a lot going on visually in An Amazing Wizard, a roguelite platformer which stops just short of calling itself a Roguevania title, having a typical amnesiac protagonist setup where you have to battle to seek out answers and reclaim your true name. The main gimmick here is spell crafting, where you can merge spells to create new ones, with the visual feedback looking pretty overwhelming, so much so that it might be difficult to see what is going on. In roguelite fashion, you will have procedurally generated worlds, each more chaotic than the last, as you battle enemies and bosses using a vast array of spells and magic weapons. This will have over 120 unique spells, which can be merged to create even more, as well as more than 200 artifacts and enchantments to further customize your abilities, also having 7 elemental playable wizards to choose from and numerous perks to unlock. So far, so standard for a roguelite. Additionally, they have taken a page out of the Book of Hades in terms of their storytelling, where with each run, you delve deeper into the central mystery, uncover fragments of your lost memories, and piece together the truth behind your powers and the world around you, and could be neat. This week also sees the 1.0 release of Bloodshed, a roguelite first-person shooter inspired by Vampire Survivors, in which you battle the malevolent threat of the cult, whose members are pursuing a sinister plan to resurrect an ancient deity to bring about the apocalypse, battle countless cultists, undead, demons, and other creatures of the night, and send them back to their graves, with the sheer number of them being similar to a Vampire Survivors style title. Like its inspiration, it will have a diverse roster of playable characters, each with distinct abilities and playstyles, providing plenty of variety, and is a good one of these. The developer of Bonaparte, a Mechanized Revolution did reach out, and I thought that it looked neat, set in an alternate history reimagined 1789 Paris where steam-powered mechs, known as Colossi, reshaped the course of the French Revolution. Interestingly, this is not the first game to mix these ideas, see Steel Rising for example, but this is a turn-based strategy game instead. This intertwines political maneuvering with tactical combat, allowing you to choose between defending the monarchy, reforming it, or embracing radical change. Your decisions influence both the battlefield and the political landscape as you interact with historical figures, each with their own agendas, having to navigate a world map style grand strategy layer as well as more tactical strategy on the battlefield. The dynamic map requires you to manage resources, rally support, and construct colossi to bolster your forces with your ideological choices, resulting in shifts in public sentiment, reflecting the complexities of revolution and will be for fans of the genre. One of the cutest titles of the week is Bugtopia, where you have to take care of a vibrant insect colony nestled within your screen. This relaxing idle simulation game allows you to raise over 300 real-life inspired bugs, each with unique traits and behaviors. Through a simple breeding system, you can create rare species, expanding your collection, and filling up your virtual terrarium with life. Customization is key, giving you access to more than 300 landscaping items and 70 backgrounds, enabling you to design a personalized habitat that evolves over time. There are added features like dynamic weather conditions and time cycles, adding depth to your ecosystem, and for those seeking a blend of productivity and relaxation, this includes a Pomodoro timer and desktop wallpaper mode, allowing you to enjoy your miniature world while still staying focused, with productivity idle games like this really becoming a genre of their own, so let me know in the comments if you would like a list of the best. A promising release this week is Cauldron, in which you play as Nyx, a young witch cast into a mysterious, darkness-covered world, having to explore, uncover the map, and figure out what is going on. This upgrade-heavy, minigame-centric turn-based RPG has an adorable pixel art style, where the main gimmick, of course, is variety, where you have to gather resources by playing various minigames, which you then use to strengthen your party, unlock new heroes, and enhance your abilities. There are a variety of gameplay options, including grinding minigames for resources, an idle mode where you can let the game auto-collect while you're away, or you can go the active route, optimizing party composition and skills in order to inflict maximum damage as you go on the offense, with over 20 heroes, each featuring unique skill trees, as well as supposedly infinitely upgradable minigames, heroes, items, and so on. It looks like quite the intriguing prospect that is just so weird and interesting, being very indie games, and is the hidden gem of the week. City Builder fans, I'm pretty sure that City Tales Medieval Era will be for you. Well, of course, you have to discount the generic sounding title since this looks pretty good. You take on the role of a medieval lord, guiding your kingdom from humble beginnings to sprawling metropolis. City builders often fall in two camps, either on a grid or gridless, with this game being in the latter, allowing you to design districts freely without constraints. It will have over 60 types of buildings and more than 50 resources to manage, meaning that there's plenty to account for in classic city building style, where every decision impacts the growth and prosperity of your settlement. Importantly, there will also be a cast of 9 companions and a narrative element to this game, where these characters can be placed in charge of key production areas and will also have their own stories and missions to complete, looking pretty wonderful even if this theme and genre combination has been done to death. We have begun to see an influx of gambling and adjacent game machine inspired titles in video games, which some people are not entirely comfortable with, since that could be a gateway drug to something much worse, but the argument can be made that as long as there are no exploitative microtransactions, these might be a better alternative. Case in point being Coin Push RPG. You might have seen these coin pusher machines in arcades, in which you are launching coins at the right time to get the pusher to push more coins and even items over the edge, which is the same core mechanic in this game, but with added RPG mechanics. Recruit legendary heroes and assemble a diverse team to tackle various challenges, where coins collected from the pusher are distributed to your heroes, fueling their abilities in combat. It is a semi-idle title, so you can passively farm coins to upgrade your heroes before embarking on a more challenging expedition with various RPG mechanics like gear, stats, and even strategic positioning of heroes in combat, turn-based RPG style, and looks pretty interesting if dangerous as a concept. There have been a number of desktop-based simulation puzzle games over the years, the next of which is Cyber Warrior, where you play as a newly recruited investigator for the Cyber Bureau of Investigation, a federal agency dedicated to solving virtual crimes. Your mission is to track down the notorious hacking group known as the Dark Omega Organization, which has stolen millions from innocent citizens. To succeed, you'll delve into the depths of the internet, gather crucial evidence, hack into suspects' systems, and interrogate individuals to piece together the puzzle. Every decision you make can bring you closer to justice or lead you into a trap, so you need to be vigilant, although this doesn't exactly seem to be realistic and might be more on the puzzle game end of things. I'm not sure if Deliver at All Costs counts as an indie title coming to us from a studio out of Gothenburg, Sweden, with LinkedIn listing them as having 11 to 50 employees, and this game is being published by Konami of all people, but regardless, this action title does look to be of interest. Our main character is Winston Green, a down-on-his-luck courier in the year 1959, having to deliver pieces of unconventional cargo no matter what it takes. It is an isometric action-packed title, but not in the sense of being a top-down shooter, but rather a driving and delivery kind of game, which also has destruction, absurdity, and intrigue. These items range from a giant flailing marlin to a big bomb that is about to go off, with each mission escalating in complexity and lunacy. This game features highly destructible semi-open world environments, allowing you to plow through the city in a variety of vehicles, leaving a trail of havoc in your wake with the option to go on foot if necessary. The citizens of the city will respond to your actions in the most unpredictable ways, and most curiously, this appears to be a linear, narrative-focused title, with the game being divided into 3 acts with a cast of distinct and memorable characters, and is not an arcadey high-score chase kind of title, looking like quite the curiosity, but do note the higher price at $30. Another Vampire Survivors inspired title is Desktop Survivors 98, one which I have a penchant for, since this, of course, uses visual elements from Windows 98, an operating system which I grew up with, so there is nostalgia here for me. Control a cursor and take on waves of enemies, Vampire Survivors style, with an array of powerful upgrades to help, including quirky weapons and upgrades, each offering unique abilities to make you stronger. There's also a meta dungeon crawling element as you hop from folder to folder or click on icons, being a clever twist on the idea, which I'm all about. An intriguing entry is Final Outpost Definitive Edition, where you lead the last survivors of a zombie apocalypse striving to rebuild civilization from the ashes. This survival strategy base builder has you assigning roles, crafting tools, and managing resources as you construct and upgrade over 12 types of buildings, including vital resource storage, production facilities, and housing for new survivors. Defend your settlement against more than 5 types of zombies by training guards, snipers, and building machine guns and watchtowers. Feed your citizens by farming wheat and hunting dwindling deer population, and survive harsh droughts, cold winters, and unforgiving thunderstorms with the simulated weather and seasons. You can also upgrade your citizens' skills to gather, defend, and repair more effectively, and while zombie games are overdone, this does look pretty interesting. A smaller title of note is Flora and Fang, Guardians of the Vampire Garden, where you play as either vampire sibling, Flora or Fang, entrusted with protecting their father Dracula's cherished pumpkin patch from an onslaught of of pesky insects. This is a charming single-screen pixel art action platformer that sure looks like the arcade-style titles of old. Think the Mario Bros arcade title, Snow Bros, Bubble Bobble, and so on, where you must jump, run, place traps, and use bug spray against the invaders. Earning coins enables you to upgrade your gear and purchase clever, upgradable traps, adding a layer of tower defense strategy to the gameplay. The levels culminate in thrilling boss battles against giant insects, testing your skills, and of course, will have co-op support and looks like fun with a friend. A sweet-looking action roguelite is Garden of Witches, where you play as a determined young witch on a mission to save her beloved garden from impending doom. The garden's current predicament is due to the negligence of her fellow witches, with talks of rounding up these unruly characters as well, so they might be the bosses here, but the gist is that I really like the art, so if you love the genre, you might want to give this a go. GLUM has you playing as the titular character, a crude ass-kicking goblin with his magical ass-kicking boot, whose life takes an unexpected turn when his cold-hearted overlord is kidnapped by rival rulers of the realm. Now, you would think that this means pure joy for an overworked and underappreciated minion, but this series of events causes GLUM to dust off his old boot and set off on a rescue so that he can get his steady paycheck once again. This is a self-styled first-person booter where kicking things is the main gimmick, used not only on enemies in combat but also in platforming. The physics-based combat is the focus, where you can kick, charge, and launch enemies up in the air in an over-the-top ragdoll fashion, creating satisfying and hilarious moments, enhanced by the Menace style system, which rewards you for creative kills. It's crude in the sense of middle fingers and strong language, with that being heavily sprinkled throughout the game, with the core action looking wacky and fun, but do note that this will be an early access release. I mentioned Gunswitch not too long ago, where this game caught my eye due to the swarms of enemies the game throws at you, but is more of a traditional top-down shooter as compared to a Vampire Survivors style roguelite variant. Set in the heart of Cerberus, a sprawling space prison overrun by demonic alien forces, you command a 4-member robot squad on an escape mission, having to blast your way through. The literal thousands of bullets per second looks satisfying as you mow down enemies by the hundreds, but there is an element of strategy here, allowing you to switch your loadout on the fly to become a more formidable killing machine. With over 30 weapons and 10 types of modifiers, there are plenty of viable options here, with the enemies not just being a mindless swarm, but can and will evolve, growing smarter and more deadly with each wave, and simply has awesome character designs. From the developer of Narita Boy comes Haneda Girl, another action platformer, but one with a noticeably different character proportions and camera zoom level, in which you are attempting to clear the levels, fighting to save the Data Empire from the invasive hacker knots. You're able to switch between two distinct characters, Hane-chan, a tiny, hyper-agile warrior who excels in close-quarters combat using her katana, and Mother, a towering tactical combat mech equipped with heavy artillery. You're able to approach each encounter in various ways, be it through speed, strategy, or sheer force, with replayability in the form of your choice of character and approach, with a sweet neon pixel art style as well. Of the titles on this list, I am perhaps most skeptical about JDM Japanese Drift Master, since sure, this looks like a cool, drifting-focused racing game which immerses you in the heart of Japan's drifting culture. However, this has an astounding 50,000 followers on Steam and is in the top 50 most wishlisted games, so either there's a huge racing game audience that I'm not aware of, or something is being done to juice the numbers. However, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, with this blending simulation and arcade style gameplay, having tracks across over 250 kilometers of diverse terrain, from mountain passes to urban streets, as well as a dynamic day-night cycle and weather system. There will be licensed cars as well, from brands like Mazda and Nissan, with a range of customization and tuning options, along with manga-style cutscenes and story, and will be for fans of the genre. I've had my eye on jumping jazz cats for a little while, considering it for my upcoming multiplayer games video, which turned into the co-op games video, so this got left off since this is not co-op but pure multiplayer chaos. Play as a cat navigating the whimsical Ellington Estate, a grand cartoon mansion filled with spiral staircases, chandeliers and hidden nooks, taking part in a variety of mini-games with the other cats. You can race, swing and slide your way to victory with 6 mini-games and 10 original jazz tracks, hence the name. The music is gameplay related, adding rhythm and flair to each match, looking so adorable and fun, with the caveat being that it is probably best with friends, although there is a single player mode with 18 challenges based on the multiplayer levels, rewarding you with medals along the way. Developer Clifftop Games specializes in point-and-click adventure games, with the original Kathy Rain from 2016, a Director's Cut edition in 2021, as well as the excellent Whispers of a Machine from 2019, where we're looking at Kathy Rain 2 Soothsayer here. You reprise the role of the titular character, a sharp-witted private investigator in 1998 Cassidy, a city gripped by fear due to a series of brutal murders attributed to the elusive Soothsayer. Struggling financially, Kathy seizes the opportunity presented by a substantial reward for solving the case. This is a point-and-click urban thriller, having you exploring diverse locations, gathering clues, and interrogating a cast of fully voiced characters. Use a revamped notebook system to log findings, connect narrative threads, and solve intricate puzzles that influence the story's progression, with this being their longest title to date and has some awesome pixel art, while also nailing the visual style of old-school titles from the 90s. There are 3 games with the title out of sight on Steam, so you have to double check before buying, where this is an atmospheric horror game that offers a unique second-person perspective, immersing you in a chilling and emotional journey as you navigate the dark, perilous halls of a creepy mansion. Play as Sophie, a blind young girl who has mysteriously gained the ability to see through the eyes of her beloved teddy bear, which is helpful since she has to escape her captors and a dark mansion. Danger lurks around every corner, where one misplaced step, a creaking floorboard, or an unexpected bump could spell capture and an uncertain fate, with the look and vibe of course resembling Little Nightmares, but with some first-person segments mixed in, looking very creepy. Up and down the indie rollercoaster we go here with Poco, a very charming point-and-click adventure game where you guide this 2-inch tall clown who has been banished from a giant walking circus and left to navigate the perilous below world. This blends 2D and 3D, allowing you to explore a beautifully cluttered environment where forgotten and discarded items from the above world decay. Your main mission is to build a rocket to return home, having to befriend and enlist the help of the local homunculi in order to do so. This has your classic point-and-click adventure game style puzzles of finding key items and combining or using them at the right spots, having a very charming art style, and the best part is that this will be free, so no harm giving it a go. I like developer Afterburn, who specializes in puzzle games, with Golf Peaks being pretty good, and they are back with Pup Champs, in which you are a retired soccer coach guiding a team of clumsy yet determined puppies through a series of tactical puzzles to score goals and win matches. This cozy puzzle game features over 130 handcrafted challenges that requires strategic planning and clever maneuvers, and in puzzle game fashion, will have escalating puzzles and hazards, including mud puddles, mischievous monkeys, and bunnies which react to your passes, all of which you need to figure out if you want to score the goal. This looks so cute and does have a heartwarming story of friendship and teamwork as well, and is a must-get for puzzle game fans. A not-so-indie title is Roadcraft, coming to us from Saber Interactive, who really have this realistic vehicle simulator thing down pat, having made titles like Mud Runner and Snow Runner, which naturally leads us to this game. You lead a disaster recovery company tasked with restoring regions devastated by natural disasters. Use a fleet of over 40 types of vehicles, including bulldozers, cranes, and asphalt pavers, to clear debris, rebuild infrastructure, and revitalize local industries. The game features 8 expansive maps, each about 4 square kilometers in size, set in diverse biomes such as mountains, deserts, and coastal areas. There is an advanced physics engine where every object in the environment interacts realistically, allowing you to manipulate materials like wood, sand, and asphalt to reshape the terrain. Plot routes for transport convoys, manage resources, and recycle debris into usable materials, which is where the larger strategy layer comes in, and if the other 2 titles mentioned earlier are anything to go by, this should be awesome. A game coming out of Singapore is SEDAP, a culinary adventure, so a special shoutout goes to them, being a co-op focused cooking action-adventure title that looks pretty fun. Play as Som, a talented chef, and Gon, a resourceful hunter, as they embark on a culinary journey through the perilous Kaya Island. Venture out to explore vibrant biomes, gather exotic ingredients, and fight ferocious creatures, and then prepare delectable dishes inspired by Southeast Asian cuisine. The duo's food truck serves as their base of operations, where they craft meals like pineapple fried rice, chicken rice, and bubble tea to satisfy the island's inhabitants. As you venture deeper into the island, you uncover more of its mysteries and encounter mythical creatures and secrets, with the co-op focus being of note, alternating between Som's cooking expertise and Gon's hunting skills, where food is a pretty central part of culture in this part of the world, so it's wonderful to see it being referenced in a game like this. On paper, one of the most popular titles of the week is Survive the Fall, set in the world forever altered by a cataclysmic meteor strike which has brought humanity to the brink of extinction. As the leader of a group of survivors, you must navigate a vast open world filled with dangers, secrets, and valuable resources. The game seamlessly blends exploration, combat, and base building elements, with the option for real-time with pause combat, but you can also choose the stealthy approach. Expeditions into the wilderness or ruined cities yield essential materials, which you can bring back to your settlement to craft weapons, research new technologies, and expand your base. Managing your followers' health and morale is crucial, with this having 3 distinct biomes to explore, narrative choices to make, and multiple endings as well. Developer Strange Scaffold is one of the most interesting indie developers in the space right now, with games in genres all over the place and taking on all kinds of work, including, strangely enough, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, a licensed game in the form of a turn-based beat-em-up. Play as the iconic turtles as they confront new threats and navigate the challenges of growing up. Both Splinter and Shredder are gone, and the turtles face a powerful new leader rising within the Foot Clan, combining strategic gameplay with the beloved characters and humor that the series is known for. Each turtle has their own mini-campaign, showcasing unique movesets and abilities, with 20 dynamic levels that evolve with each turn and a cool look. Another promising upcoming title is The Mosquito Gang, an asymmetric multiplayer title that pits humans against mosquitoes. In this world, the humans have developed a potent mosquito repellent, and the stakes are high, since if released, it could obliterate the mosquitoes once and for all. Play as one of 4 elite mosquitoes, with your mission being to infiltrate human spaces, drain their blood, and evolve mid-battle using a roguelite system that grants abilities like invisibility, teleportation, and team healing. Alternatively, you can play as the last human defender, armed with an arsenal of weapons and gadgets to fend off the swarm. Asymmetric multiplayer titles did have their time in the sun, see the ongoing popularity of Dead by Daylight for example, so this certainly has potential, with it being a common enough scenario for us but has not been captured in games, so there is the potential for virality here. An interesting cyberpunk turn-based dungeon crawling RPG is Twilight Wars, set in a world where mega corporations have overthrown governments, plunging the world into corporate anarchy. As the sole survivor of the once powerful anonymous arbitration agency, your mission is to rebuild said organization and to restore balance. Guided by the agency's sentient AI, you must assemble a team of elite operatives, each with unique skills and complex personalities, to undertake covert missions against these corporate giants. This has turn-based tactical combat, with, I believe, the turn order being presented to you on screen, so you need to be strategic about which enemy to target and which abilities to use. Decisions made during missions and dialogue can influence the story, with your base serving as a hub for training, research and recovery, evolving as you progress. I'm not sure what happens if you fail a mission, whether it's Darkest Dungeon style punishing and you permanently lose characters, or if it is a restart at last save point kind of situation, or do you simply respawn at base with or without penalty. But if you love turn-based RPGs, this should be of note. Long-time indie game fans might be familiar with developer Jesse Markonen, best known for the Distraint series of games, and he is back this week with Without a Dawn, a horror visual novel where you step into the shoes of a woman seeking solace in a secluded cabin, hoping to escape the relentless noise of her mind. However, the profound silence and isolation only amplifies her distress, as the eerie sound of the cold wind weaving through the trees keeps her awake, and in the dark stillness of the night, this silence begins to take on a physical form. This dark, psychological and philosophical title features hauntingly beautiful pseudo-ASCII art and immerses you in a gripping narrative that blurs the line between reality and fiction, looking pretty freaky but compelling. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. So many games already, but I have saved the best for last, beginning with Nitro Express, a pixel art action platformer that looks awesome, in which our heroine is a member of the atypical vehicle disposal squad in Nitro City, tasked with taking down drones that threaten the peace. This is a 2D side-scrolling run-and-gun action game which equips you with a vast arsenal of assault weapons, including grenades and EMPs, as you engage in high-octane battles against these mechanical menaces. It has a 360 degrees free aiming system, allowing you to target enemies from any direction, but you can also stop to improve your aim, adding depth to the combat mechanics. You will also gain access to various gadgets and vehicles that enhance your combat capabilities, looking like an evolution of the Metal Slug run-and-gun concept with a killer visual style. Farming game fans, Tales of Seikyu will be of note, one with a Japanese mythology and anime influence, in which you embark on a journey to restore a countryside inn on the mystical island of Seikyu, a realm where yokai and humans coexist. You are doing farming sim stuff like cultivating crops, raising livestock and crafting items, all while uncovering the secrets of your ancestral lineage. However, the twist is that you can transform into various yokai forms, such as a boar to till the soil, a slime to dive underwater, or a crow tengu to soar through the skies, each offering unique abilities to aid in your adventures, including combat. As you interact with the island's diverse inhabitants, you can build relationships and even pursue romantic connections, with multiple eligible bachelors and bachelorettes available, also having seasonal events, festivals, and all the bells and whistles expected for a game like this, looking very promising but will be an early access release. We also have the 1.0 release of Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, a first-person open-world RPG set in a dark reimagination of Arthurian legends, where the once glorious Avalon is now trapped in perpetual autumn. Explore a decaying world filled with mythical creatures, ancient ruins, and a pervasive sense of decay, having a complex, branching main storyline where your choices significantly impact the world and its inhabitants. You can engage in combat using a variety of weapons and magic, craft items, and interact with over 250 NPCs across 3 expansive regions, also having survival elements such as managing hunger and exposure to the weirdness, a primordial force of chaos that alters reality. Among other additions, this 1.0 release will also add a third-person camera, with it being compared to Oblivion in spots, not exactly the best timing given the surprise release of that remaster, but if you want something with a different flavour, this will certainly be of interest. It has already gained over 4,400 Steam reviews in the 2+ years of early access and looks to be only onwards and upwards from here. This next title absolutely crushed it with its playable prologue demo, generating a huge number of wishlists as a result, which makes Tinkerlands one of the more hotly anticipated titles of the week. This is a sandbox crafting title, think Terraria, but with another perspective, where you find yourself stranded on a mysterious archipelago, where survival hinges on your ingenuity and courage. Gather resources and craft tools, build settlements and explore vibrant islands teeming with magic and danger. Encounter over 10 formidable bosses, each guarding unique loot and crafting materials, and engage in activities like fishing, farming, and cooking. The islands are procedurally generated, with co-op support and wonderful pixel art looking kind of like Core Keeper in concept, but on islands instead of underground, and could be huge. My favourite roguelite deck builder is the original Monster Train, so I am very excited for Monster Train 2. Having a story where the Titans are now threatening heaven and the unlikely alliance between angels and demons results in new clans and units to choose from, retaining their signature multi-floor combat system but adding new elements like room and equipment cards, as well as the Covenant Outpost, which is a central hub area for upgrades and might just be among the best games of the year. Watch this video for the best games of the decade.
It is time to raise hell in heaven.